Beneath the Frostline. The sea forgot them. The ice never did. A cargo plane touched down in Barrow, Alaska, chartered for a routine geological expedition across the frozen plains. The crew was lean, 5 hardened professionals and a curious intern with a grant to study magnetic anomalies deep beneath the permafrost. The sky hung low, heavy with a silence that made radios crackle and breath feel borrowed. This wasn't their first time in the Arctic, but something in the air was off. No one wanted to say it out loud, but even the snow felt like it was listening. Dr. Lionel Kastner, a former NOAA researcher with a disgraced record and a hidden past, led the crew. He'd taken the assignment to replenish his nest egg and stay off the grid. But as soon as they reached Station Delta 6, an abandoned Cold War outpost recently thawed from the permafrost, he got bent out of shape. The station wasn't empty, at least not entirely. Cora Diaz, the youngest member of the team, was the first to pick up what she called data noise, high-frequency pulses with a pattern too regular to be natural. She tried to show the readings to Kastner, but he waved it off. Said she was barking up the wrong tree. They weren't here for that. But when one of the team vanished overnight, leaving behind nothing but a parka and a line of boot prints that stopped mid-stride, they had to cut to the chase. The remaining crew tried to get their bearings. Generator wires were frayed, satellite comms failed, and food stocks had been tampered with. Then someone opened the locked containment cell in the basement, a room marked only with red paint and a single word, NIP. Inside wasn't a relic, it was a mistake, and they just dug their own grave. What they'd found wasn't human, not anymore. It had eyes like polished glass and skin pale as frostbite. It didn't speak. It studied. With each hour, it moved more freely in the cold. By the third night, it learned the layout of the base better than they had. Kastner tried to lay bare the history of the facility from old Soviet files. What they'd uncovered was an experimental subject that had quite literally fallen through the cracks of international records. A living weapon, hibernating, waiting. They tried to evacuate, but the plane wouldn't start. The pilot's last message had been garbled, something about lay of the land changing. Then the signal cut. With no way out, they fortified the station. They thought they could roll with the punches. They thought wrong. Juno, the comms tech, rigged motion sensors across the perimeter. On the 6th night, the alarm screamed, but nothing showed on the cameras. Nothing until Juno disappeared, and her room was drenched in freezing condensation, shaped like fingers. The crew started scratching the surface of what was really happening. The creature wasn't hunting, it was studying, testing them, waiting for them to panic. One by one, the team broke. Nils, the medic, tried to flee into the tundra. They found him 12 hours later, barefoot, grinning, muttering coordinates over and over. Cora pieced it together. Those weren't numbers, they were timestamps. A countdown. It was down to the wire. Kastner confessed. Years ago, he'd worked for a covert branch of environmental warfare. Delta 6 had been his last project before he blew the whistle. But he hadn't told the whole story. He'd helped design the creature's cryocell. He knew what it could survive. And worse, what it could become. They tried to nip it in the bud, burn the station, collapse the tunnels, but it was too late. The storm came in fast, whiteout thick, and Cora was the last one left. She locked herself in the comms cabin, broadcasting a mayday in loops, spilling the beans to anyone who might be listening. The thing waited just outside, quiet, learning her voice. When the rescue crew finally arrived, they found the cabin empty. A warm radio, a pair of boots by the door. The others were never recovered. Only the intern's voice repeating over shortwave, "Don't come looking. It's free now." And beneath the frost line, the snow remembers.